Good morning, Oracles. Today I just wanted to discuss a little bit about disruptive technology. This is what Tesla is. Tesla is disrupting the automotive market. So this is why we're going through a lot of rough ups and downs. Yes, the macro environment is creating a lot of that. But as we go forward and fighting these battles, which many of you who are long-term Tesla investors know, especially through that 2018 era with the Model 3, this is what you're going to fight through. There's a lot of people who do not want to change from where we were in the past. There's a lot of people who don't believe that Tesla can do what they say they are going to do. And there's a lot of people who have been so ingrained, like the UAW and big oil, that they can't change because they will completely lose the power that they have. So they are fighting everything they can and putting bad names on it and being pessimistic and spreading just falsehoods and FUD about Tesla and other EVs to keep it from actually happening. Truth of the matter is, it is going to happen, and we are going to get through this. It's going to be very much like a child learning how to ride a bike. They're going to get on the bike, they're probably going to fall many times, they're going to crash, they're going to hurt themselves, they're going to have some pain and some tears, but eventually they are going to ride that bike and they're going to be able to go off on their own and thrive in riding that bike and go on adventures without the help of a parent. That's basically what we're going through right now with Tesla. We are just going through the bumps and the bruises, all the scrapes along the way, these little bits of pain, but eventually we will get to the point where we do not need any assistance anymore, and it will just be natural for us to be EVs around the world. And when it comes to these businesses that Tesla is disrupting, you look at like Saudi Aramco. They've basically realized that it's coming, which is why they have put such a large stake in Lucid. But you're going to see what's going to transition is supply and demand. Right now, gas prices are going through the roof. This is their swan song. This is their last chance to make massive profits before they start to lose their big business. Because the more EV adoption grows, the less demand they are going to have for their oil. And this is going to mean that their prices are probably going to go up a little bit as they are trying to compensate for the lack of demand. Eventually, that's going to hit a wall and supply will be overwhelming, demand will be low, and the prices will have to come down. And they might be able to find a little bit of a balance, and we might have that little bit of a lull where people are like, ooh, it might be cost effective to buy an ICE vehicle again because gas prices are so low. That will be very short-lived, and that will be the very end. ICE vehicles are probably not going to go away entirely, at least not for the foreseeable future. Probably 10, 15, 20 years, you're always going to have an ICE vehicle of some sort going around out there, at least, older models. But as we move forward, with all the regulations that are coming from all the governments switching over to EVs, this is going to change. I just try to follow the fundamentals and what the governments are saying and regulations. Like, it's happening. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And that time that we go through in that transition for disruption is where it can be painful, but also very lucrative. And so yes, we are seeing gas prices, diesel prices extremely high at the moment. But as I had mentioned the other day, the semi-truck is now up for order. Again, we don't know when production is going to happen, but we are eventually going to be getting semi-truck EVs on the road as well. And so that's going to be significant. So when it comes to the diesel costs of transportation, those won't matter anymore because we will have electricity. And so looking at the diesel prices now, is this going to affect our CPI coming up in June? I don't think so immediately, because when we had the initial gas and oil spike back when Russia-Ukraine first started, we saw that reflection in the CPI last month. So I think all those prices are already worked in because we went up, came back down, and now we are higher than we were before, but I don't know if we're going to have that cycle into our CPI in June or not. So what I'm really paying attention to is, are these prices going to continue? If these prices do continue into June, then we might see the CPI and inflation reflect it in July. So just a few things that I'm monitoring. because the first spike that we had was short-lived, but a lot of people priced in all of the oil prices going up. And so it always lags afterwards, because if companies can charge more and get away with it to make more profits, they will. That's just how they operate. So right now it seems like we're back to where we were before. If we pull back, we're good. If we continue to go up or stay at these levels for another month, then I'm going to see maybe a little bit of concern for the CPI in July. And now, one thing I have seen in the past when it comes to fuel costs is a lot of times these companies already have that baked in, and so it does take a long time. It could take 3 to 6 months of extended higher fuel charges for them to actually put them into their costs and then pass them on to the consumer. So again, this could mean a little bit longer drawn out time frame we need to pay attention to, but still something to monitor. And again, this is something that Tesla is disrupting. So obviously it's not going to happen overnight. They have been working on this for a long time, but when it comes to vehicles and fuel for vehicles, that is already changing quickly. And they're also going to be changing the fueling that we need for fueling them, like the electricity, switching over from oil to electricity, switching over from coal to wind and solar. This is a huge disruption that's going to happen over the next decade. A lot of governments, again, are on board with this. So we are moving in that direction to a cleaner future and a more efficient future, and getting away from all of these oil issues. And in turn, we won't have a dependence on the oil, and those prices will come down. So this is still going to be a short-term issue, but it's all a matter of how quickly can Tesla and other EV companies and other solar companies push for this as quickly as possible to make this transition. And so when I'm looking at the stock price fluctuating as much as it is right now, this is why I look at the future. This is why I look at the areas that Tesla is going to disrupt, because Tesla is disrupting a huge total addressable market. So being able to get the stock at these prices right now is totally worth this roller coaster ride that we are on in the near term, because in the long term, it is totally going to pay off. And this is why my near-term strategy right now is to take this little bit of a roller coaster ride up that we are on. I have a feeling for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be going up. The only macro anything that we really have going on this week is Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow. Other than that, there's really nothing going on. So we could see a little bit of a run, but we have all of these gaps down across all indices that I think we're going to fill as well. So as we go up, I'm going to take the stocks that I want to get out of, sell out of them to free up cash for the next dip. I have a feeling the next dip we get is going to be the bottom of the year for the market. So again, I can't guarantee this, just following where I'm at with the different pieces of news that I have seen and kind of tracking how we are going with the charts. I think the next one down is going to be the bottom. I don't know where the bottom is going to be, but I know that I want to free up cash to be able to invest as much as I can at that point. And then my next goal is to see us making a higher low on the next dip after that one. That will give me the indication that we are coming out of this, and then I will feel more comfortable dumping more money in, because then I can see us getting to the end of the year with a nice rally between the end of November and December to finish the year off. So I want to make sure that my money is in the companies that I want it to be in for that point. So I'm going to be clearing out of the stocks that I don't want, putting my money into the stocks that I do want. Tesla obviously is my number one, and I want to rebalance my entire portfolio to be what I want it to be in the future for when this disruption happens. Let me know in the comments below, what companies do you see that are out there that are going to take advantage of this disruption over the next decade? Obviously, we know Tesla is our number one pick on here, but give me some companies that you guys also track that you think are going to disrupt our technologies over the next decade. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you so much. Have a great one.